Hi guys, it's week 2 of my shrimp tank experiment right now, where I'm trying to have a tank that will have Opae Ula shrimps and purely Cladophora moss or algae actually. And things weren't going too well. Basically, I'm trying to dose this tank with food to try and cycle the tank, right? But no matter how much I test with my test kits and I test with my test strips, I couldn't detect any ammonia, any nitrites, any nitrates, which was kind of disappointing. I also did the same test on my existing tank where my shrimps are in, and I found that there was some ammonia, not a lot, there was some, probably I don't know, less than 0.1 ppm, which it shouldn't be there, right? It shouldn't have any ammonia at all, and there were still no nitrites and no nitrates, which made me kind of worried. But as of this week, things are looking really much better. So in this tank right now, we can see that there is actually algae already growing on the tank wall, and you can see some of the shrimps are running around eating from the algae on the tank wall. And what we can also see is the shrimps, quite a number of them have started to turn red, which is good. It means they're happy. There is still no nitrites, no nitrates, and I tested the ammonia again, and the ammonia is going down. So overall, I think this tank's cycling process is working. There was an ammonia spike because I started to get really excited, and I kept feeding them every day. And that caused an ammonia spike, which isn't great. I need to be more restrained with my feeding of the shrimp. Now coming over to this tank, even though I waited for more than a week and I've been dosing it continually with fish food and spirulina, I could not detect any sign of ammonia. There was no ammonia, even though I've been testing it with my test kit. There was no nitrites, there was no nitrates, and I was starting to get worried and desperate, so I went and bought ammonia bicarbonate, 60 cents for this bottle. I diluted 1 ml of the powder into 1 liter of water, and I've been dosing this tank to try and achieve, maybe get close to 1 part per million of ammonia. But even though I've been doing that for almost a week now, there is still no sign of any nitrites and any nitrates, which is kind of weird. Then I had an epiphany. You see, my shrimps are super tiny. Their bioload is super small, especially if I don't feed them a lot, because they should be eating algae and bacteria and other stuff. So since their bioload is so low, I don't really need to cycle this tank. I can put them in, and as they produce the tiny little amount of ammonia that they produce, the bacteria inside the tank will automatically adjust to the load and then convert the ammonia to nitrites, which then the bacteria will adjust to the load, convert the nitrites to nitrates, and the nitrates hopefully will be consumed by the Cladophora moss that I have in here. So I have decided on one very simple course of action. This week onwards, I will no longer be dosing this tank with food or ammonia or spirulina. I will just measure the ammonia levels, the nitrite levels and the nitrate levels, and if I can see that the ammonia levels go down, then I will prepare the tank, maybe do a water change, clean up a little bit, and I will move the shrimps over and basically do a shrimp in cycle, because the shrimps are so small, their bioload is so tiny, right? The good news about this tank is the moss seem to be doing really well. The salt content in this tank right now is at about 7,000 parts per million, which is about 7 parts per thousand, right? Did I get that right? Yeah, 7 parts per, no. I forgot my math. Anyway, it's about 7,000 parts per million, which is getting close to my target of about 10,000 parts per million. And so far the moss are doing well. They are healthy and green. except for some patches of brown, and this was from my earlier batch of moss, which when delivered to me was already brown anyway. So I think when I will continue to observe them and see, and if they turn bad, I will have to trim them and remove them. Thankfully, I ordered more moss. This flew all the way from China, and amazingly, when they arrived, they were totally dry in the packet. I mean, okay, they're not dried up, but it was not wet. And when I rehydrated water, they're just fine. They're just doing well. And green, vibrant, and green and perfect. So if I need to replace any moss in here, I have spare moss. So yeah, the updates for today is the moss is doing well, which is good. My shrimps are doing well, which is good. The tank cycling process is not going as planned, but I will move over to a shrimp in tank cycling process because the bio load is very, very low. And I'll continue to update you guys next week. Bye.